So today we're going to talk about how to stop letting money create so much stress in your life, because let's be real, so many of us experience stress as the primary emotion around our money. And why is that? I want to talk to you about what causes that stress, how to stop letting the stress actually take over your experience with money. And we're also going to talk about why money has this chokehold on us that we know exists, and yet we have no clue how to break out of that chokehold. Money creates stress for us because we have placed our value, our human need to be validated and to be worth and to be safe and to be abundant and enough on the money itself. So we struggle to part with the money anytime we are attached to it.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Nicole, a life and business coach for high-functioning women. I'm a self-proclaimed foodie, content creator, educator, and your new abundance bestie. In my world, we talk about all things to do with elevating your life. I post weekly videos helping the everyday woman embody her highest self, create inner wealth, master her mindset, unlock her femininity, and be an absolute boss in life. I create resources, trainings, and host experiences online and in person in order to help you reconnect to your true self. Not the one you think you need to be, but the you that you were born to be. So you can reclaim your power and amplify your voice to lead, love, and create as a woman. If you like my vibe and you want a little bit more abundance in your life, hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new episode. And be sure to check out the free resources in the description below.
Okay, so let's talk about the lens through which you've been so used to viewing money and why that's not serving you. So I'm going to teach you the alternate lens to put on, but firstly, let's talk about the problematic lens that you've been looking at. But before I go into that, let's talk about a valuation system. Your valuation system speaks into how you spend your money, how it feels to do it, and whether it is supporting you or not. So our valuation system is dependent on whether we see something as worth it or not to us. Worth it enough to spend or like release money to or not. And our valuation system, whether we see something as worth it, is always going to have a direct correlation to our self-worth and perception of self-worth. It's not the entire thing that's responsible for it, but it always has a strand of correlation. I'm going to explain that in a second. So our personal worth has a lot to do with what we allow ourselves to receive. So our valuation system, for example, when we don't allow ourselves to have nice things or nice experiences, let's use having dessert, for example, then we will view dessert as something that is not something we can give ourselves access to because we aren't worthy of having the dessert. And because we don't believe we are worthy of having the dessert, we will disallow ourselves the permission to spend the money on it. Or if we do spend the money on it, we'll feel guilty, we'll feel bad, we'll feel like it was a expense that didn't need to happen, and we shame ourselves, and it perpetuates that negative vibration with money. And so where does that actually root from? Where did it actually come from? You want to take the time to understand, why don't I feel worthy of dessert? And I don't think we do this enough. We don't analyze why we don't feel worthy of certain things that we actually want, that other people have no problem giving to themselves. And a lot of that has got to do with your conditioned beliefs and things that you maybe saw or learned growing up. So for example, if I were to use myself, I had a family that was like, no, we're not spending on dessert. Like, we can go home and just be happy with the meal that we just had. Dessert is too expensive. It's always overpriced. It is not worth it to buy dessert at the restaurant. Just make your own, go home. This was my upbringing around dessert. So I literally always had mental drama on spending $5 on a hot chocolate for dessert, or spending $5 on a little mug cake that would make me feel really abundant. And $5, I had that in my bank account. More often than not, the thing that you are not giving yourself permission to access and you're creating stress and mental drama around it is because you haven't checked in on whether you value it or not. And if you do value it, you haven't done the work to give yourself permission to be worthy of receiving it. And I know it sounds silly, it's just a piece of cake, but it really is a mentality, it's a state of being, and it's how you carry yourself with a lot of things in life. And you'll find this will fall into greater categories of spending, like investing in a house, or renting out an apartment, or buying a car, or choosing clothes when you're shopping. It will literally trickle into every part of your life. It's a mentality of being deserving to spend and being deserving to receive the things you want and value. And often our parents, our upbringings, they have imposed things that we should value and we shouldn't. And it's time we start thinking for ourselves what we do value and what is worth our time and money and energy. So back to the valuation system. Your valuation system right now is built on this framework. Ready? It's built on the framework of, if I have this, then I can have this. If blank, then I will blank. It's based on a conditional cycle, a conditional system that often depends on how much money you have available. If I have X amount in my bank account, then I can have the thing I want. If I make 2 sales today, then I can give myself this. And you'll notice that that narrative or that system is actually built off of lack. Anything conditional is built on lack. If it were abundant, it would have no conditions. If you believe that money was always flowing, that you were worthy of nice things, that you were worthy of whatever you wanted, then you wouldn't have this conditional way of interacting with money. And it's that conditional lens that creates the stress and friction that most of us are trying to exit from. And if your narrative has always been,
when I have this in the bank, then I can, or if I have X amount of money, then I'll give this to myself,
then you're always going to feel like you're on that constant hamster wheel, and money's just going to perpetually feel stressful for you to engage with, because again, the root is lack. The root is the conditionality. So in essence, when you think about experiencing wealth, experiencing abundance, it actually comes last. The wealth experience of having something that you're worthy of, or feeling that you are abundant and feeling good, it comes last. It comes second to you having a certain circumstance in your life, a certain number in your bank account, a certain goal that you've hit. And you know what? This isn't just applicable to the conversation of money. This is applicable to our goal setting and how we relate to ourselves. And I see this a lot for a lot of my business clients and my life coaching clients who are so hard on themselves that they don't take the time to acknowledge what they've accomplished. They feel guilty for resting because they're on that hamster wheel of needing that validation from their circumstances. And this comes from that conditional lens, from the lack lens. So the joy, the feeling of joy, the security, the I am enough, I am worthy comes after the condition. And often it comes very rarely. Now, what is the alternate system? What is the alternate framework, alternate lens that you want to start applying today to start feeling that ease and neutrality around money? I want to remind you that the neutrality comes firstly from viewing money as just a resource. So before I tell you this lens, remind yourself that it's about doing the inner identity work first and detaching the validation that you think money needs to give to you and learning to give that to yourself. If you're wanting to do this inner work, I encourage you to, number one, check out my money liberation workshop. It is a free workshop that you can sign up for, and you can literally pop in your details into the link in the description box below and you can get the training in your inbox. It is a 3-day training. It is juicy, it is powerful, and it will change your life. That's the first thing you can do. The second thing you can do is you can book a life realignment call with me today. We can chat about your money blocks. We can have a look at where there is misalignment, and money is just one area of your life that there is friction, and that friction is actually trickling into all the other areas of your life. And this is how this works, right? When we talk money, we're also talking about all the other areas of your life because it's a way of being. How you do one thing is how you do everything. And this is what these free life realignment calls are here to do. So I want to invite you to reach out and book that call. The details are in the description. I want to do that with you for free for 45 minutes. We're going to chat it out. We're going to help you realign, not just in your money, but in all the other areas of your life. So you can check that out in the description. So the secondary lens, let's talk about this. So as you may have guessed, the secondary lens is a lens that is driven by abundance. Its root is I am enough. And the conditionality that existed in the first lens that's perpetuated a lot of stress in your life is no longer the case. It's unconditional. It's the complete opposite. So what does that actually look like? Well, if the first lens was, if I have this, then I can, here's what the second lens says. Okay, so that looks like I am, insert, worthy of all the experiences that I value. Therefore, I choose to spend money on what I value, right? I am deserving of a safe work environment. Therefore, I choose to uproot from this one and place myself in an environment that feels safe to work in. I can afford whatever I desire because I am able to always find a way. Like, there is an I am energy around this that is rooted in abundance. Really unique about this lens is you're not going at it from a place of lack. You're not saying that my experience of wealth and goodness and sufficiency and identity comes after I have a certain circumstance. It's saying, no, I am already this, and therefore I can access the things I want. Therefore, I can direct money flow to what I value. And you don't play victim or helpless to how much money you have. Instead, you start going, it doesn't matter how much money I have. I dedicate that money towards what I value because that's the role that I want money to play in my life. And I think a part of living in that perpetual cycle of stress around money is because we don't feel that we can control how money makes us feel. We feel that we will always feel a certain way because that's just how we relate to money. That's just how it's always gonna be. But what if you could pay your bills with your last dollar this week and feel good about it? Have you ever thought of that? Have you ever thought about paying your phone bill doesn't always have to induce negativity? Maybe it could feel really good because you value having a mobile phone to use the internet and to call your friends on, and you value that, so it's worth your money. And so many of us don't take the time to do this or to pay attention or to monitor how we feel when we interact money. And we are so used to feeling stress around money and negativity that we just autopilot. We default to that stress feeling instead of going, hey, I can actually choose to feel good if I choose to perceive this differently. And that's where the valuation perception really, really makes a difference. I don't feel bad about parting with the money or spending the money because money is just a resource and money is here to support me and having a good life. This is an example again of that I am abundant energy. So it's so important in this process, in this framework of really changing that valuation perception and the system that you use to view and interact with money, that you give yourself a little bit of grace. Because up until this point, money has always historically created stress for you, and that's why you're watching this video. And to rewire that and to change that, it's about practice, like putting this into application and doing it over and over and over again until your subconscious mind receives this as your new identity. It receives it as your new lens of perceiving money. Right now, your identity, your subconscious mind is filled with lies or stories that basically have convinced you that you are not able to feel good about money. But that does not have to be your story. And I think one of the most powerful impacts of this work is, like I said in the beginning of this video, is that the change is generational. I believe that because I have done this inner work, my children will experience the liberation with the money that I wish I had growing up. And, you know, I don't think we ever will get to that point of feeling neutral about money, where whether we have lots of it or less of it, we feel neutral and unattached to it. We don't get to that point without intention, because we live in a world and a society that tells us that we must feel scarce unless we have insert the blank. We live in a world that thrives off of our scarcity and constantly reminds us that we are not enough, when in reality we are so enough, and we so get to feel joy and abundance and happiness regardless of the material things we have, including the amount of money we have in our possession. You get to feel good, you get to feel powerful about every money decision you make, whether the money is being made and you are working for the money. However way you make money, you get to feel good about that. Same thing with how you spend the money. You get to feel good about every single dollar that leaves your account. And I encourage you today, if you're watching this video, to let yourself feel good about every single interaction with money. And I want to challenge you to have fun with it. Let yourself have fun with the experience of de-stressing around money. Now, if this video helped you, I encourage you to again check out the Money Liberation free webinar that I have. It's a 3-part training and you are going to absolutely freaking love it. And if you found it transformational, I want to invite you to join me in my program called Embody, because that is the kind of work that we do, the level of in-depth exploration we do to really begin to shift and transform your relationship with yourself and the things in your life. In the Embody program, we actually go through an exercise called the life wheel, and finances and money is just one piece of the pie of your life. Your life consists of relationships. It consists of your mental, spiritual, emotional, physical health. It consists of your career path. It consists of so many other factors. And I think that money is just a sliver of the pie. But the great thing about the embodiment process that I take my students through in this program is that not only do you get that elevation in that one area of your life, for example, money and finances, but you get to elevate all the other areas of your life. And some of the things that have come out of this program as a result is mind freaking blowing. In just 12 weeks, women just like you have completely changed the way they think, feel, interact, and carry themselves in every area of their life. And just 12 weeks in this program can truly set you up for an entire generational change and show you a new way of living. And you no longer have to strive, hustle, feel scarce, or feel like you need to earn your way through. You get to feel abundance, joy, peace of mind, and you get to think clearly by understanding concepts that I've just shared with you today. So if you're interested in that, check out the details in the description of this video or book your free call with me, like I mentioned in this video. All the details will be in the description, and I hope you'll join me in the upcoming video that I have. All right, that's all for now, and thank you for joining me today. Bye.
If you want to take your abundance to another level, I want to help you. I'm a life and business coach for women who want to step into their next level by activating wealth from the inside out. To help you take your first step to unlocking true abundance and your aligned potential, I'm giving you free resources, workshops, and masterclasses that you can access on demand right now. Check out www.nicoleconception.co/free-resources to get your hands on it. For more videos like this, check out the other playlists and series I have on this channel, and don't forget to hit subscribe to be notified whenever I drop a new video. And if you're more of the podcast type, check out Freedom in Flow, where I dive even deeper into the concepts that will help you create less hustle and more flow, abundance, and alignment in your life and business. Now, if you're a reader, you'll want to subscribe to my email list for unfiltered, honest, and most importantly, applicable life upgrades. Now, don't be a stranger. Connect with me on Instagram and TikTok and send me a message. I love getting to know you and your story. It's why I do this. Okay, my lovely, that's all for now. I'll see you soon. Signing off, Nicole.